Good morning or good afternoon. Today, we're going to take a look at the Sharperlight reporting solution for SAP Business One. Before we jump in, let's look at a couple of key points behind Sharperlight. Sharperlight was designed years ago using the Excel platform, and it's grown from there exponentially into a powerful reporting tool. What Sharperlight gives you the ability to do is it allows you to report within that native format you're used to seeing, like Microsoft Excel. But it also has the ability to publish reports to a web channel, create dashboards that contains data from multiple data sources. So it's very quickly becomes a very powerful reporting tool. Some of the key features of this is of course, the familiarity with Excel, the secure self-service reporting capability, so it really protects your data. The ability to run consolidated reports. We run into some situations where we have some customers that choose to consolidate through the general ledger transaction level. And then we have other customers that consolidate through reporting. And Sharperlight is one of those tools that really lends itself very well to consolidated reporting. Um, I should have mentioned this earlier. If you do have questions, the chat bar and the question frame are off to my right as usual. So please jump in and ask questions and we'll answer them live as we go through this meeting. All right. Sharperlight also supports both SQL and HANA. So, there isn't a specific release of Business One you need to be on. Above 8.8. As long as you're above 8.8, you're good on Business One. But even if you're below 8.8, Sharperlight can still work within your Business One environment. There's just a few changes that need to be made, and we'll talk about that when we get into the demonstration. But one of the really nice features of Sharperlight is the ability to write back into SAP Business One. And we see a lot of clients using that, especially in areas of budgeting. That's a real popular area to use that write back feature. And there's a lot more that can be done. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's take a look at Sharperlight. Okay, so I'm in the cloud. I'm logged into the Amazon cloud. Whether you're on premise or in the cloud, doesn't matter. Sharperlight will work either way. It's very flexible from that perspective. Now, what I've done here is I've started my Sharperlight application. And this is my Sharperlight control panel. From here, I have the ability to do all kinds of things. But where we're going to start out is we're going to start out with the query builder. So let's click on that. Now, when the query builder comes up, it attempts to connect to the last company you were connected to. Now, this query builder is made up of three key frames. You have the filters up top here, which gives you the ability to filter and create your own filters. Sharperlight also automatically proposes filters for you. We'll see that in a minute. Then you have your selection criteria frame. This gives me the ability to drag and drop and add or double click and add what I want to see into my output frame. So really, these three key frames are what's used to create some very good and everywhere, anything from simple to very complex queries can be done from this frame here. So let's do this. Let's jump in. I'm going to start out by selecting a company. So I am in a multi-company system. So these are the companies that I have access to. So I'll go ahead and select the company I want. Then it says, okay, we now need to select a data model. Now, this is where I think you'll start to see some real value from Sharperlight. And I'm showing you Sharperlight out of the box. This is what you get when you set it up out of the box. You'll notice that this structure of data models resembles almost identically to the SAP Business One menu. So the end user, the person using Sharperlight, they don't have to be familiar with left join, right join, inner joins, outer joins. Um, all of that goes away. Now you still have access to those joins if you want to get in there and get into the actual SQL. But the point of this is that Sharperlight pre-joins all of those areas for you. And I'll give you an example. Let's go ahead and let's grab sales and AR. We double click. And within sales and AR, I've got different areas that I can get into. But we're going to start out here by saying, all right, we want to create a report, a sales report. So we'll double click on the sales and AR data model. Now, when you look down at the selection below, you can see that it already joined all of those tables. And within these tables, there are further joins. If I drill down into my business partner, then you can see the join to business partner groups and so forth. So maybe I'd like to see a report of sales by business partner group. So I might start then by clicking the group name, and then I can go back up to the top. We might want to see a document code, which would be a sales order number, probably the business partner code, the business partner name. And you can see as we go through here, this gives us the ability to start selecting and grabbing the fields that we want to see. It also gives you the table names, which is I think is also really powerful for those of you that have been working with the query generator for a while. You'll know you'll recognize those table names right out of the gate there. All right, so as we're doing this, let's see the document total. And right now, I'm going to click Preview. And this just gives us a real quick check, kind of a sanity check, to make sure that the report's looking the way we want it and that it makes sense. And so now what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a sales report by customer group along with the document total. So we'll go back to our query. Now, let's just say that, you know, we'd like to, you notice that when we selected our table sales and AR, Sharperlight automatically added these filters for us. We didn't have to add these. These came default. Let me give you an example. Let's come back here and let's switch out of sales and AR. Let's change horses here. Let's go into purchasing an AP. There we go. Now you can see again, it loaded in a fresh set of filters. So these are the most common filters, and there's no limit. You can have as many as you want. And so it's saying, it's thinking, or what I like about Sharperlight is when I go to create a report, it knows that, well, I might want to filter on a certain document, a certain type of purchase document, a vendor, a time frame, or I might only want to see, opened purchase orders, right? So those defaults are a very nice way to start, and it saves a lot of time. But what if you want to filter on something that's not on this list? So let's say as we scroll through this list here, one of the things that I might want to filter on is maybe a reference number. Now, if I can't find it in this list here, you'll notice there's these binoculars here. And in here, you can key in anything and it'll give you, any bit of that information. So I can look at this list here and see, is there a reference field or a reference number that I might want to add in here. So you've got a really good way to look up fields in here. Now, what I'll do is we were talking about product group. So as we scroll through here, let's go down into the business partner. Let's go back to our business partner groups. And let's say that we wanted to be able to filter by group name. I'd only want to run reports that are for a certain group of customers. In that case, I can add my field over here, but then I have the ability to drag and drop it up here as a filter. So now I can run my report and I can filter on a certain group. And this is really a neat feature. And so over here, I'll have the ability to go out here and add a filter. And then when I run the report, then it'll ask me for my group. And then just as easily as adding a filter, you can remove filters, right? You'll notice here you have the ability to do things like import queries and export queries. And there's a lot of things that I'm not touching on here in essence of time, but the ability to create queries as filters and the ability to have subqueries and drill downs. And again, change your unions, change your joins, as well as union multiple reports together. So if you can do it in SQL, You can do it in Sharperlight. So I think you get the idea with the query generator, the query builder, a very easy to use, powerful way to create queries. Now, once those queries are created, you then have the ability to turn those into dashboards. And dashboards are really neat. We're going to take a look at those next because a dashboard can contain data from multiple databases, from multiple third-party products, and in one dashboard. And so let's look at that. Let's jump into our Sharperlight Excel reporting pack. Got it open here. And so this also comes with Sharperlight. As I mentioned before, Sharperlight really got its, started out in its infancy as a way to leverage Microsoft Excel in a more easy to use way. And it's really grown from there into this full-blown, uh, you know, uh, data science product, giving you the ability to run reports, create reports, and look at your data scientifically without being a data scientist. All right, so in my report pack here, I have a report. One of the default reports you get with Sharperlight is account balances. And so I have a couple of filters up here. I can filter on company. And again, I can double click and I get that familiar Sharperlight list of data sources. Now, this is companies, but again, this could also be data sources. I could have a HubSpot database, Salesforce database, a Shopify database that I might also want to combine and pull data from. So very nice feature there. And then I like the way Sharperlight deals with periods. I could say all periods, I could narrow it down, I could set period offsets, all kinds of options when it comes to selecting periods. Now, another default report you get, customer orders. And again, you can have a date from, a date to. If I want to change my to date on any of these dates, these can be connected to calendars, or you can simply hand enter here and change the date this way. We'll go ahead and change the date, close, and that'll reshuffle the report there. Okay, next, top 10. This one really just shows my top 10 customers and suppliers, depending on what I want to look at. So on the left are my customers, the right are suppliers, just a real quick top 10. But the point of this report is to show how Sharperlight can combine both charts and graphs. So in this report here, there's a lot going on actually. You have a filter section, and then you have two different charts that are based on two different reports. One's focusing on vendors, the other's on customers. And then you've got, again, two more reports down here. So a lot happening in a single dashboard. Customer aging, sales by quarter, balance by period, and again, financial statements, profit and loss by project. Now, I'm in a demo database, of course, so my data is kind of questionable being in a demo database. But in a real company, this looks fantastic. Now, we're almost through, but there's a couple of other things that I think are really important in Sharperlight. Besides the reporting pack, Sharperlight also comes with a blank page. And you get this Excel add-in called Sharperlight Excel. Now, this again goes back to our roots, goes back to the roots of Sharperlight. How can we easily create a report in a tool we're familiar with, but bring in data from a third-party data source? That's what we're going to do right now. So as an example, I might want to bring some data in at this cell B2. Now I can do that. I can bring in a value. I can return a tables of data, a list of data, or an entire sheet of data. And it's sheets of data use formulas and whatnot. What we're going to do is, if I want to bring in a list of data, then I start out by saying, okay, what company do I want to bring the data in from? So for example, this report might be Business One, and two cells over, I might be running a report from another data source, all in a single spreadsheet. But now you begin to see the power here. So we want to look at our sales and AR, and I want to bring in, let's just jump down here to the good stuff. Let's just bring in our customer reference number, our document number, document status, what's the total, and let's bring in our customer name and customer code. So we'll bring that in and customer code. Now, I'd really like to have the customer code up top so I can drag and drop, and I want to have the customer name below it. Now, I love this feature too because it's not uncommon when you're creating a query with the query generator to have to go back and start cutting and pasting to get the columns where you want them. Here it's simple. You just drag and drop. And not only that, but I also, on any one of these columns here, so for example, customer name, I can start creating some functions here. I can do things like, segment the data, transpose the data, do counts, minimums, maximums, averages, those kinds of things. Some general procedures here. Is it going to be used in charts only and not on the data, or vice versa? Formatting options, grouping options, ranking, all kinds of things with just a click right here of the that dot there. So again, a lot of power in a small package. So we've got our company here. We've got our columns. I'll select OK. We'll give the query a name. Call it sales AR1. Okay. And off it goes. I now have populated my spreadsheet with data coming directly from SAP Business One real time. And it's in my report pack. Now I can add another tab, another page. And the way that we see this used quite often is a customer will have a report pack that has their balance sheet, their income statements, their P&L, their budgets. And that report pack goes around to the CFO, the president, the VP of sales, goes out for approval, and everybody gets real-time data. When I open that report pack, I can refresh the data and I'm off and running. So again, we've just scratched the surface. Now, from here, I can actually write back into Business One, and then I can drill down into the details. Now, my favorite feature, saved it for last, is the ability to publish my workbooks. So if I'm over here looking at a top 10 and I want to publish this to a web channel, that's the other feature of Sharperlight, is a secure web channel that you can publish these reports to. Because you may have some users that they don't even know how to use Excel, but they're really good at MySpace or at Facebook, and they know how to use a browser. And so with a browser, they can then log in securely and view all of your published reports. And that's what we're going to take a look at next. So if we go back to where we started here, back into the Sharperlight query application, one of those options here, we talked about the dashboard pages. You've seen the dashboards and how we can create powerful dashboards from multiple data sources. Next step is, if we want to, then we can publish those dashboards to a web channel. So let's open up my web channel, and here's my Sharperlight web channel. Now, this is just a demo example. I'm on a demo server. So in real life scenario, this would be your logo, your colors, your URL. But this is where I have the ability for Business One, or if I'm using a third-party product like Salesforce, if I'm doing right back to Business One with budgets, and I've got other KPIs and production plans and other things, all of this could be published. Again, you have the multi-company capability here. So I'm looking at my top customers, and if I want to say, well, what are my top customers in Australia? I can view that. What are my top customers in UK? I can view that. So again, just ease of reporting. If I want to look at my top 10 vendors, then we can bring that up. If we go over here to sales by quarter, I can go into my account balances and look at those. And again, these are just Sharperlight reports that have been published, profit and loss statements, those kinds of things. I'm going to jump over here to budgets for a moment. And in here, you have full budgeting capabilities, the ability to forecast, the ability to write back to Business One. So a lot you can do with Sharperlight. I've even seen a client add a purchase order request form in Sharperlight through a spreadsheet, and it creates a PO request within Business One. So it's a fantastic tool. The users of Sharperlight do not need to have a Business One license. There's a Business One license that connects Sharperlight to Business One. So it's a very economical way to disperse business information in and about the system and within your ecosystem, even within your supply chain. Okay, that's all the time we have for today's session on Sharperlight. That was a quick overview to wet your whistle. If you saw something that resonated with you and you'd really like to get more information, we'd love to give you a quote, talk to you more about Sharperlight, answer any questions you have. One of the last things I'll touch on here is that the Sharperlight has fantastic online helps. So you're watching a recorded demo. You also have the ability to install and set up the solution yourself. You have the ability to add your own data models. Everything in here is fully documented, designed for somebody that might be seeing Sharperlight for the very first time. So the online helps are great. And then I want to bring up my introduction overview PowerPoint here. We'll leave with that to leave you with some online Sharperlight training that is available here at YouTube. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this link just to show you, but this will take you out into all the Sharperlight training courses. And you can see it's quite extensive. So I think when you couple the online training with the training you get from Vision 33, you'll be using Sharperlight literally within hours, if not days. All right. Thank you for watching.